name's Reverend Mindy Tucker. I've got a photo montage of the people who are serving you today. I'm right there in the middle with the other co-minister, Reverend Nickie Golden, who is giving the talk today. We have Julie Tregelone in Youth Ed. We have Carrie, our bookkeeper, who you might not ever meet, but she knows who you are. We have Sherry Raspa, our Sunday services coordinator. Chris is on sound. Jennifer, you met. She's the board member of the day. We have Kirsten, who's our vocalist. We have Jay, who's our pianist. And we have Mary Ann Drew, who comes up and sings with us. It's a great day at Unity of Mesa. I'm so grateful that you have chosen to be here today where it's cool, where it's beautiful, and where you can be reminded of how loved you are. We don't know who everyone is, but we know what everyone is. And everyone here who is either in person or watching online is a beloved expression of God. I am a beloved expression of God. Would you say that with me, please? I am a beloved expression of God. I don't know what kind of morning practice you have, but mine is the alarm goes off and I hit the snooze button. And then I lay there with my eyes closed and I remind myself three very important truths. The first one is I am a beloved expression of God. The second one is that I'm here for a purpose. I'm here for a holy purpose, and so are you. You are here for a purpose. You're here for a holy purpose. So let's say together, I'm here for a holy purpose. I'm here for a holy purpose. And the third one is that we're always in the right place at the right time right now. So wherever we are where we are by divine appointment. So if you were in the building at Unity of Mesa, you're here by divine appointment. If you are watching online, you are where you are by divine appointment. So I'm in the right place at the right time right now. Let's say that together. I'm in the right place at the right time right now. Let's take all of those truths into prayer, remembering that there's only one presence and one power, active in the universe and in our lives, God, the good omnipotence. Feeling our oneness and our love with what we call God. Feeling our oneness and love with the people in community at Unity of Mesa. Feeling our oneness with our capacity to energize, to enlighten, and to empower. For our capacity, for these truths, we say thank you, God, and amen. All right, this is Reverend Nickie Golden. She's going to join on the platform for announcements. But before we get going, I want you to meet my grandson, Luca. Luca's right here in the front row. Do you want to just stand up and wave at the people? No. Okay. This is how it rolls. All right, he's with me for the week. We went to Legoland. I was telling a few people, I think I'm still spinning, but I'm okay. And he's fine. He's fine. That's how we roll.
We have a few announcements for you. The first one is the monks are coming. The Tibetan monks are going to be doing a chanting service here on July 27th at 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. It's a love offering basis, and it's going to be beautiful. We've heard them before. They were in town last summer, and they were just absolutely wonderful.
2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from today, the monks will be here. In the past, they've come and done sand mandalas and done all kinds of things, but we are lucky enough this time to get a moment, 2 hours, of their time for the chanting. The very next day, on the 28th, the church is invited to participate in a service project that's organized by our board of directors. It's going to St. Vincent de Paul to serve, starting at 8 a.m. over there at St. Vincent de Paul. And if you are interested, we have a few more spots to fill, and that sign-up sheet is on the information table if you're watching online, admin@unityofmesa.org. And you will be able to connect with Sherry, and she can put you on the list.
And we have Jennifer Magnano doing our expansive grief workshop today after church. It starts at 12, and it's really wonderful. If you're grieving in any way, if you're experiencing any kind of grief, it's available to us, and it's deep, and it's rich, and it's full, and I came out of there just feeling like a whole new person.
Yeah. 2 weeks from today is Divine Audacity, our ongoing year-long discussion. We meet once a month. The focus of this one that's on that day, the 27th, before the monks, is love, our power of love, our harmonizing power of love. And that's led by Sherry and Paul Raspa. And then the last thing we want you to know
is we have Java Time coming up this Friday. It's at a new place called Mocha and Company. It's on Greenfield Road. It's about 2.5 miles from this location right here. You can look it up on your maps or Google Maps or whatever. It's a wonderful place, but it's a wonderful time just to spend time together, to be in a relaxed environment, to drink some tea or coffee or have a snack, whatever you want to do, and just be together. You can ask questions, you can talk about movies. It's a free and open time.
Fun. All right, stand if you were able, or as you were able. We're going to sing I Walked and I Walked.
I walked and I walked. I walked all night long. I walked and I walked until I saw the light. Just couldn't be contented. Just couldn't be contented. Just couldn't be contented until I saw the light. I prayed and I prayed. I prayed all night long. I prayed and I prayed until I saw the light. Just couldn't be contented. Just couldn't be contented. Just couldn't be contented until I saw the light. I sang and I sang. I sang all night long. I sang and I sang until I saw the light. Just couldn't be contented. Just couldn't be contented. Just couldn't be contented until I saw the light. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Oh, rock my soul. I walked and I walked. I walked all night long. I walked and I walked until I saw the light. Just couldn't be contented. Just couldn't be contented. Just couldn't be contented until I saw the light.
You guys did great, fantastic. Please be seated. Coming up right now is Sherry Raspa.
Hello and good day. I have the privilege of coming up to recognize some lovely people who keep us fed. We would really like to take a few moments today to thank our hospitality team for all they do for us. Whether you are someone who is in the kitchen or outside, or whether you're one of our faithful table setter-uppers, we really appreciate you. So as you hear your name, please come forward and allow us to recognize you. Denise Holla, Debbie Brown, Nancy Neufeld, Rosemary Van Turnout, Sadie Harlow, Janet Brown, Colleen Peterson. Rosemary, I'm not sure you heard your name, girl. Come on up. And as I said, we have some really, really wonderful people who help us with the setup and the takedown of tables. So Arn Richardson, could you please come forward? John Groves. Dave Perry. Rick Sund. Paul Raspa. Hayden Prudy. And Billy Schweitz. Thank you all for your efforts on our behalf. And if everyone would please join me in blessing these beautiful souls. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ you are.
Hello everyone, time for our youth and family spot. I'd like to invite Coraline up here. She's going to lead our affirmation. Coraline, come on up. All right, the mic is yours.
I am in the flow of divine love. Please say it with me. I am in the flow of divine love.
No announcements, but there will be very soon, and parents have been asked to save the dates. We've got 3 important events coming up, so we're going to enjoy those. So let's bless our children, and then we're going to sing them out to class. Children, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are.
Go with Riker, okay? Yeah, yep, come on. There is one thing in this world which you must never forget to do. If you forget everything else and not this, there is nothing to worry about. But if you remember everything else and forget this, then you will have done nothing in your life. It is as if a king has sent you to some country to do a task, and you perform 100 other services, but not the one he sent you to do. So human beings come to this world to do particular work. That work is the purpose, and each is specific to the person. If you don't do it, it's as though a knife of the finest tempering were nailed into a wall to hang things on. For a penny, an iron nail can be bought to serve for that. Remember the deep root of your being, the presence of your Lord. Give your life to the one who already owns your breath and your moments. If you don't, you'll be like the one who takes a precious dagger and hammers it into the kitchen wall for a peg to hold his dipper gourd. You will be wasting valuable keenness and foolishly ignoring your dignity and your purpose.
Where would I be if it wasn't for you? Lost in the dark, then you walked in the room. I came alive when you opened my eyes. I won't go back to that life. The world might be shaking, but I stand in your presence, standing strong in your love. 'Cause I got you in the joy, in the pain, in the waiting, in the fire, in the flood, in the breaking. I'm standing on you, so I won't be moved. Yeah, I'll get through if I got you. Why should I tremble and worry with fear? If I am your temple, you're already here. Heaven surrounds me when I call your name. There's nothing that you cannot change. 'Cause I got you in the joy, in the pain, in the waiting, in the fire, in the flood, in the breaking. I'm standing on you, so I won't be moved. Yeah, I get through, 'cause I got you. Yeah, I got you. I'm standing on you, so I won't be moved. Yeah, I get through. In every season, I keep on singing. In every sorrow, I keep on praising. You're always with me, I know. You're never letting me go. In every season, I keep on singing. In every sorrow, I keep on praising. You're always with me, I know. You're never letting me go. 'Cause I got you in the joy, in the pain, in the waiting, in the fire, in the flood, in the breaking. I'm standing on you, so I won't be moved. Yeah, I get through. 'Cause I got you in the joy, in the pain, in the waiting, in the fire, in the flood, in the breaking. I'm standing on you, so I won't be moved. Yeah, I get through. 'Cause I got you.
Kirsten Sandbeck and Jay Melbourne. We're glad we got you today. Doesn't that just delight your ears? Make you happy? Feels good? And it's a spiritual truth. There's someone with us all the time. One of that someone's is us. The other someone is the presence of God within us. I want to share a story with you guys today. It's one of my favorite Bible stories. It's the story of Mary and Martha when Jesus comes to visit. So Jesus is going through traveling, and he stops in Bethany at Mary and Martha's house, and Martha invites Jesus in, and he sits down and he begins to teach and he begins to talk with people. And this story is quite interesting in that Mary sits with Jesus, and Martha, we don't know how long that she has sat there. The scripture doesn't tell us that, but it implies in some translations that she had been joined in too, because the Message version says Martha was pulled away into the kitchen. In other versions, it just says Mary and Martha also sat together, and then Martha got up and she went and she began to work in the kitchen. And she was in the kitchen alone, or at least alone without Mary. And I'd never had a sister, but I watched the competition between my brothers. I hope you're not watching right now, but I watched the competition between my brothers, the two young men growing up and then becoming now a little bit older men. And it still happens. So there's this dynamic that sometimes happens among siblings. We call it sibling rivalry. So what happens in this particular story is Martha gets up and she interrupts the conversation and she goes to Jesus and she said, I'm working in the kitchen all along and Mary is just sitting here. Why don't you do something? Tell her to help me in the kitchen. Can you imagine? Tell her to come and help me. It's an interesting thing. So Jesus said, Mary is doing what's hers to do. She's doing the better thing, basically. And let go of your anxiety. Let go of this thing that's distressing you. Because Mary is right where Mary needs to be. He didn't actually use Mary's name in any of that, but he said she's in her place. I want to just take a look at this from a couple of traditions. Historically, it's amazing that Mary and Martha, if she did sat together with Jesus in their teaching. While it's not uncommon for us to be here together, men and women in one room, hearing teaching, and for even women ministers these days, at that historical time period, it was very uncommon. It was actually considered kind of blasphemous for Mary to be sitting at the feet of Jesus. Women were considered to make good wives, to take care of the house, to have babies. That was their purpose in life in that particular time period of the Bible. And so here Mary was sitting at the feet of Jesus. She was learning something. Usually in this time period, what would happen is that the men would be gathered, and then later the women would say, hey, tell us what he said. Tell us what Jesus said. So we're already a little bit out of the cultural norm. So think about how you, if you're ever out of your cultural norm, feel when that happens. Yeah, when you start breaking the bonds or the boundaries of culture, how do you begin to feel? I know when I do it, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit anxious. But Mary stayed very grounded, according to the scripture, very present. And Martha, when she got called away, went into the kitchen and she started doing those things that are typical of women. She began to work. She began to do hospitality. She began to prepare a meal. 1 Peter says, show hospitality to one another without grumbling. So she was following their tradition with one exception. Oops, there was some grumbling going on. But can you imagine, have you ever been in a situation where you feel like you're in the kitchen, or maybe it's not even the kitchen, but you're somewhere and you're doing all the work and everybody else is having all the fun? Have you been in that situation? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you've been in that situation. Many of us have been, if not all of us have been. And think about what feelings come up for you. Can you do this without grumbling? Oh, no, I hear this little no, I can't do it without grumbling. So we have a tendency to grumble at times, and yet we've been mandated. Some versions say, show welcome hospitality to guests without complaining. So grumbling, complaining, they're all kind of the same thing. But that's the historical background. So here is Martha, who's doing the cultural norm, and Mary, who's out of the cultural norm, doing what she truly wants to do because she's pushing the boundaries of what women can do. And then Martha, who's had enough, goes to who she sees the authority, Jesus, to say, tell Mary to get in the kitchen. Tell her to come and help me. So I want to look at this from a few perspectives. In family systems, we have two individuals in a family, two sisters. And one of the concepts of family systems is self-differentiation. So being different and allowing that difference to happen. And Mary allowed herself to do what she wanted to do. And Martha did not allow herself to do what she wanted to do. She did what the cultural norm was. Now, what happens? Mary, who's just enraptured, is doing what she thinks is right. And she's correct. It's right for her. And Martha, who's following the cultural norm, is doing what she thinks she should be doing, and she thinks she's right. So how does that get reconciled? Well, one of the ways it got reconciled was Martha went to Jesus, and this is actually called triangulation. I want to show you. She saw Jesus as the authority, and even though her conflict was with Mary, Martha goes to Jesus and said, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do all the work by herself? Tell her to help me. Yeah, that's what happened. Triangulation. And this is what happens when people are anxious. And Martha was clearly upset because she was grumbling and complaining, and she was anxious. When people feel anxious and they want to stabilize that anxiety, they don't want to feel as anxious as they are, they'll go to a third party quite often, one that they see as authority, and they'll tell that person what's going on. And oftentimes they're looking for somebody else to take care of the situation for them, but oftentimes they're just looking for somebody to hear them, so they're draining off that excess energy. But what's the difficulty? Is Jesus the one who can handle this? No. But the beautiful thing is Jesus was also self-differentiated enough. He was his own person enough that what he did was he just said to Martha, hey, I know that you're upset. I know you're anxious, but that's not necessarily helpful at this time. I'm using my words for this. It's not necessarily helpful. He never said Mary was wrong. He actually implied that Mary was doing the right thing. He never said that Martha was wrong. He just stayed out of it. He totally stayed out of it. He just said, let me show you what he said. You're worried and distracted by many things. So this is a reflection. So he didn't get in their business. He didn't get in their dynamic. Now, how often does somebody come and tell you something about somebody else? Oh, I know this crowd wouldn't do it. But you get in other people's business. You take the side. Oh, well, you take the side of the person. And it's like, now you're upset and they're upset. And boy, we can get some drama going on about somebody who's not even in the room. And in this case, she wasn't in the room. She was in the next room. But we can get that level of drama going on at times, when the easiest thing and the healthiest thing is actually to stay out of it and to say something like reflective, I hear that you're worried, I hear that you're upset. And I would take it a step further and say, have you talked to Mary? So if we look at this from a communication point of view, Martha has gone to Jesus as an indirect means and hasn't gone to Mary. Communication-wise, Martha could easily go to Mary and say, Mary, would you be willing to help me in the kitchen? Would you be willing? It's a request. Now, sometimes we forget that a request can be answered with yes or no. It's a request. It's not a command. It's not a demand. But how often do we ask for somebody to do something expecting that they'll do it? And if they say, no, thank you, I don't believe I want to come into the kitchen right now and help you. I'm happy and contented sitting at the feet of Jesus. How often would that upset you? Well, I ask you to come and help me, and you're not doing it. It brings up something within us. And you may be thinking, why is she talking about this story from this point of view? We are a community. Some people think about our church family. We're a community. So all of the dynamics that happen in a family happen in this community. How often, instead of going direct, hey, Mary, would you be willing to help me? Or, hey, whoever, would you be willing to help me? How often do we not do that? And if we're upset, we go to a third party. We're trying to reduce our own anxiety. We're trying to stabilize ourselves. But that's not necessarily a healthy way to do it. Going directly to each other. Oh, I noticed when you said something, I was upset. I noticed when you did something. It's beautiful when you do that. It's sign of healthy human behavior. when we're able to go to each other and share instead of go and talk to somebody else. When it's Martha going to Jesus, luckily Jesus had the inner strength and the compassion to be able to not get involved in this sibling rivalry, this sister's dynamic, and to just let it be. What he did was model behavior for us. This story is a great example of Jesus teaching us how to be in the world. Don't get in other people's business. Don't get out of your lane, whatever way you want to put that. But to stay present to your own self and your own experience, which is sometimes hard for us to do, particularly with anxiety. Sometimes it's really hard to just stay present with the anxiety and to ask ourselves some questions like, oh, where's this coming from? What's happening within me that I'm so upset about this? How is this familiar from my past? Is one of my very favorite questions. And then the next one would be something like, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from this? And how can I engage with somebody I'm having conflict with, or they may not know it? Have you ever had conflict with somebody and you're really upset and that other person's clueless? I've had that experience with people who are upset with me and I'm clueless, or I'm upset with them and they're clueless, and they don't know until somebody says. So when somebody comes to me and says, Reverend Nickie, I want to talk to you about this. I'm upset about blah, 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 and it has to do with me. I'll say, well, thank you for letting me know, because if you had not told me, I would not know. And sometimes that actually surprises people. Oh, really? I thought it was so evident in the way I was behaving. It's like, well, I'm a little clueless at times. But I also, if you're upset, I'm going to give you that space to be upset. And I think that's really a healthy thing to do. But we do live in a society that's become rather codependent. And we try to take other people's pain away from them, rather than let them have whatever learning process of their pain. We can be there to support them like Jesus did, and saying this, you're worried, you're distracted by many things. It doesn't take anything away from Martha. It doesn't put her down in any way. It's not unkind or uncompassionate. It's simply a reflection. I see that you're worried by many things. And it doesn't get into the dynamic between the two of them, Martha and Mary. Now, I want to look at this from another perspective. Earlier in the Christian scriptures, Matthew teaches, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. So when Mary is sitting at the feet of Jesus, she's doing what we've been commanded by Jesus to do, to seek first the consciousness or the kingdom of God, the teachings of God. And Jesus was teaching. He was teaching what his philosophy, his belief system was. He was teaching about his oneness with God. He was teaching love for God, for ourselves, for our neighbors. And the invitation is to seek first this kingdom, to do this first, to come into alignment first with the presence of God. If we look at this metaphysically, Mary is the part of us that is seeking that deep awareness of our own divinity. I want to say that again. Mary is that part of us that's seeking an awareness of our own divinity. And how do we make that connection? We've talked before here about how compassion is kindness and recognizing our oneness with all people, as well as being mindful, or another word for mindfulness is presence, being present to the moment. And when we're present to the moment, it takes a skill. Current research shows that we can stay present in any moment for about 4 seconds. It sounds like a little bit of time, but if you think about it, TV commercials used to be in a whole minute long. Can you imagine sitting through a minute of TV commercials now? It would feel like forever. But many parts of culture have brought us down to our attention span is a lot less. Things are moving fast. We're looking for rapid change. So sitting still in meditation for an hour or 2 hours can feel like forever if your mind is rolling like Martha's was. Instead, getting up and moving and doing things that help you to be present to yourself and to dissipate, to sort of drain off that energy is very powerful, so that we can be present. We can be present to that part of ourselves that is seeking that deep connection. And when we have that connection, when we're experiencing that awareness of our oneness with God, we're less lonely. We're less scared. Perfect love casts out all fear. Is part of the biblical teachings. When we're able to be present with ourselves, then we will make a different kind of decision than when we're just making a decision out of anxiety. So metaphysically, Martha is that doing part of ourselves, that need to do something, always be moving. Now, metaphysically, remember, all the characters of the story are us. We are Mary, we are Martha. And have you ever had that conflict within yourself where you feel like you want to take some time, you just want to relax a little bit, to take some time, but there's this inner voice that's saying, but you got to do the dishes, you got to vacuum, you got to do this, you got to do that. You know, there's a lot to do. This is why sometimes I like to go to Starbucks and sit and read, because the dishwasher's not saying, I need to be unloaded. So I'm not hearing those voices. So I find a place where I can have that time to simply be. So within us is that I am of Jesus, that calm, that grounded energy of Jesus. It's always within us. We call it our divine nature. And if you don't like the term Jesus, put a different term in there. It's our divine nature. It's who we truly are, the truth of us. And yet, in society these days, we're called to be, and be present, but we're also called to do. Within each of us, because we love people and we are actually love, there's this calling to be of service to people, to do kind things for people. But when we do kind things for people and don't take care of ourselves, then we're out of balance. You know, it's like we haven't had our V8 or something. We need to come back into balance. And it's this balance of beingness, and it's this balance of doingness, the service, the love, the being present for other people, being present for ourselves, and doing the things that we need to do to take care of our own lives. This is what the story is about. How do we seek first the kingdom or the consciousness of God, knowing, having faith that all will be added to us. Everything we need is available to us. Just before this particular verse in Matthew, Jesus is talking about even the birds know that they're taken care of. Even the fishes of the sea know that they're taken care of. Why do we not know? And it's about not holding true within us that faith that all is well. That truth of us that all is well. And it happens pretty easily when we start watching the news, which there's nothing wrong with watching the news, but we can get ourselves riled up. We can become as anxious as Martha and go to people and say, why aren't you doing this, or why aren't you doing that, when we're doing what we're being called to do. And we can be upset with people for their beliefs because we think we're right, which we are for ourselves. We are for ourselves. And somebody else who's doing it different thinks they're right, and they are for themselves. And somehow we need to learn to bridge the gap. And Jesus did it beautifully. He reflected. He didn't rebuke. He simply reflected. He was present with both Martha in her anxiety and present with Mary in her presence. How do we do that? How do we begin to do that? Well, there's several ways. One, we can pause. In our busy lives, we can pause between tasks and take a few breaths. Just taking a few deep breaths. Oh, I have finished this task. I'm going to take a few breaths. I'm going to celebrate that I completed this task. We can take a mindful walk. We can walk around being aware of what's happening around us. We can look at the beautiful blue of the sky that we have here in Arizona. We can look at the trees and the beautiful trees, the Arizona kind of trees. We can look at the cactus, and some of them are in bloom again. We can look at our surroundings and seek the beauty, seek to see the beauty. We can look at our friends and be grateful for the kinds of relationships that we have developed with each other. We can be in gratitude for the homes we live in. We can be in gratitude for all of the things that we have in our lives that are personal to us quite often, and yet meaningful to us. So when we bring gratitude into the pause, then we are creating time to expand our awareness and expand our consciousness. And we're actually, based on spiritual law, inviting more to come to us. And we can create moments of stillness. Moments of stillness. It's difficult, but it's possible when we practice to be still anywhere we are. And I know we live in a culture that if you go to the restaurant, sometimes it's so loud in restaurants that it's hard to have a conversation because there's a TV. I know I get distracted. All of a sudden I'm talking to somebody and something's changed and I'm over here and I'm thinking, oh, this is bad communication. Let me get my eyeballs back on the person, because when we're in eye-to-eye contact, we're also in heart-to-heart contact with the individual. We can limit distractions. We can create that quiet space during conversations. We can find a place that's quiet. We can find a place where we put our phones down. Some families have a basket and they put their phones in the basket for mealtime, so that at least that's a time of just talking to each other. I know we're a little different in our family, that sometimes we get distracted by some concept or some idea that we're talking about, and we want to look it up, and then we spend 15 or 20 minutes talking about this idea, this concept. So that's where the use can be really good, because it's evoking conversation for us. It's evoking learning for us. Our curiosity is out and about instead of just scrolling mindlessly. And believe me, I do enough of that scrolling mindlessly. We can be engaging in reflective practices such as journaling. It's not my favorite, to be honest with you, but some people love journaling, and it is a reflective practice. It's something that we can do and go back and look at later, but it's also something that helps us get our thoughts on paper so they're not spinning around in our head. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when thoughts are spinning around in my head, it's hard to capture them, and I believe them more. You know, every thought that we have is not a fact, and we don't have to believe it. But when it's in my head, I think it's true. And when I can get it outside of my head, then I don't think it's as true when I can look at it, because it gives me some sense of perspective. We can meditate. We can ask ourselves questions in that pause. What am I feeling right now? And then tune in and listen. Listen to our own self. Love ourselves enough to be willing to listen to our own self. We can ask ourselves the question, what do I need right now? Do I need to go back to work and just get busy? Or do I need a moment to just take a little walk, to have some water, to sit down and reflect for a moment, to relax, to breathe? What do I need? Do I need a moment of connection with somebody so I can text, or I can get on the internet, or I can call somebody up and say, I just have a moment to talk to you, but I'm just looking for connection. There's so many things that we can do to practice presence. What am I feeling in this moment? What do I want? What do I need? What would delight my senses? What would make me happy in this moment that I can do for myself? And then we can practice open-heartedness, acceptance. Open-heartedness is really acceptance. Acceptance of ourselves, Of all the different personas that carry on within us, we can practice acceptance for others and really truly allowing people to be who they are and let them have their experience without being judgmental or telling them that they're wrong or that they should be doing something else. We can also release the urge to fix. Sometimes people just want to share something with you. They don't want you to have a solution. And I know that we live in a time where having a solution, and let me tell you what I did, or let me tell you what you could do. We feel good about ourselves when we feel like we're helping somebody else. That's a part of that part of ourselves that wants to be in service. And yet, maybe that individual wants to just share it. The best thing to do is, how would you best like to be supported? Would you like me to offer a solution, or would you like me to simply listen? And listening is not always just simple. Listening without a filter, listening without trying to fix, listening without thinking, oh, I'm going to say this next. I know this will be profound for him or her. I'm going to say this next. But simply being present to listen, to be available to hearing what the other person has said. And this takes slowing ourselves down in order to do that. So people don't want to be critiqued or controlled. We want to have the freedom that is ours by divine right, that personal freedom to be ourselves. One of the things I love is in friendships that I've established is I feel like I can say what I believe without being pounced on. And if I do feel pounced on, I can say, oh, I'm feeling pounced on right now. I would really like to just share this with you. Sometimes we don't have the words or the skills to be able to do that. But if somebody's telling you something about another person, you can ask the question that you don't want to hear, and you know it's not your business and it's not in your lane. You can say, have you talked to the other person? Would you please go and talk to them? I'm not going to be able to help you. And that might be hard for some of us, because when we are in a helping model, we want to help. And so if I just say something, then I can at least help. But the biggest most loving thing you could do is, would you please go talk to the person? Would you please go talk to the person you're upset with or that you have a request from, instead of talking to me? If somebody's giving you advice that you don't want, you can say very kindly and very simply, thank you. I just wanted to share with this. Would you be open to simply listening to me? There's ways to do it. We don't always think about it in the moment because we're not always present to the moment. And my invitation to us is to spend some time learning how to be present to the moment that we're in. Because when we're present to the moment, then we're going to know when we're triggered or activated, or whatever word you'd like to use there. And we can say, oh, I'm noticing I'm getting activated. I need to take a moment. But if we're not present to ourselves, we can't even know it. And so sometimes we walk away from a situation, we go, oh, that makes me so mad. But we don't realize our part in that situation. So the story of Mary and Martha and Jesus, this sibling rivalry, is a powerful story of how we can be with one another in a loving presence, in a loving way. Recognizing first to come home to ourselves and then to be with each other from that spot, that place of love. So if you're interested in this, Abraham Maslow says that the greatest lesson is that the sacred is in the ordinary. It's in the day-to-dayness of our lives. That it's to be found in one's daily life. It's in one's neighbor. It's in one's friend. It's in our family. It's in our own backyard. The sacredness is already within us because of our divinity. And the sacredness is what we carry with us wherever we are, whether we're going into a place that's very peaceful or a place that's very chaotic. That sacredness is still within us. It's about practicing the presence of God so that we show up as the beloved expression of God that we already are. And it helps us to move there. But oftentimes we think, oh, we need to read another book, or we need to go on retreat. And there's nothing wrong with those things. I love doing those things. But when we can remember that sacredness is in this moment, it's in our lives already, it's in our very backyards, then we're in balance. Just as metaphysically, this story is calling us to be in balance with presence and service. So if you're interested, I have some affirmations here. I slow down, breathe deeply, and meet this moment with openness and compassion. My presence is the greatest gift I give to myself and others. I teach this last statement all the time to my ministerial students. Our presence is the greatest gift we'll ever give to anybody. It's the gift of ourselves. It's the gift of our divinity. It's the gift of our love to be present with, to sit with, to be available to another individual, for it opens our hearts. So if you're interested in this, repeat with me. I slow down, breathe deeply, and meet this moment with openness and compassion. My presence is the greatest gift I give to myself and others. Let's say that last statement one more time. My presence is my greatest gift I give to myself and others. Your presence is a gift. It's a gift to yourself and it's a gift to others. We're going to sing our way into meditation. I invite you to listen, feel, be present with yourself as we sing.
Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, serve, and remember? To love, serve, and remember. Love. Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, serve, and remember? To love, serve, and remember. Love.
Let's take those thoughts into a time of meditation. We've come here to be that beloved expression of God. We've come here to be a presence of God in the world. And within that presence, we have our holy purpose. And when we are present to that purpose, when we are present in that moment, we are able to know what the next right steps are for us in our lives. We're able to live a balanced life. We're able to navigate all the different feelings that we feel in being a human being that's divine in this lesson place called the planet Earth. Take these thoughts of love into the sacred and holy silence. What would you do if Jesus came to your house today? How would you be? And how are you when you meet the presence of God on the streets or in the stores? Who are you? And what have we come together for? To love and to remember who we are, divine by nature, powerful beyond what we even know and understand, because we have all of the capacities of God within us right here and right now in this moment, awaiting for us to simply open up to them, to recognize ourselves as the greatest gift we can be, simply by being ourselves, by being who we've been created to be, by knowing that we are enough, by knowing that right here and right now we are enough, we are love, and we're here to be that love. Let yourself come back to this time and this place with the presence that you are, the gift that you are, moving forward from this moment on as that gift.
What a gift to be here with all of you today. In the back of our sanctuary here at Unity of Mesa, you have the opportunity to drop in your gratitude for Unity of Mesa and all the things on your heart. I pulled a couple of gratitude statements this morning. The first one says, I am grateful to have been born in Mesa, and I am blessed to have a mother who showed me unity alongside my sisters. We got some generational good there. Friends, community, and home here at Unity of Mesa. And this one is for our collective health. So some beautiful things this morning. We are entering into a time of offering, so extending the gift that is us back to Unity of Mesa. There's a couple of different ways to give. You can give online through our Vanco app. You can use that QR code right now if you'd like to. You can give through the bookstore. You can give in the back at Unity of Mesa. They're able to accept your payments. And then the baskets will be going around. Join me in praying in this time. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.
I believe the promise about the visions and the dreams, that the Holy Spirit will be called out and the power will be seen. Well, the time is now, the place is here, and God's people have come in faith. There's a mighty shout and a touch of fire when we're gathered in one place. I believe that the presence of God is here. There's not one thing that can't be changed when the Spirit of God is here. I believe that the presence of God is here. When two or three are gathered, when people rise in faith, I believe God answers and the presence is in this place. I believe the promise about the visions and the dreams, that the Holy Spirit will be called out and the power will be seen. Well, the time is now, the place harvest is here, and God's people are calling me. There's a mighty sound and a touch of fire when we're gathered in this place. I believe that the presence of God is here. There's not one thing that can't be changed when the Spirit of God is here. I believe that the presence of God is here. When two or three are gathered, when people rise in faith, I believe God answers, and the presence is in this place. Nothing on earth or heaven can stop the power of God. Into our hands is given the call to take it on. Build a barricade, no storm can rise above. I believe that the presence of God is here. There's not one thing that can't be changed when the freedom of God is here. I believe that the presence of God is here. When two or three are gathered, when people rise in faith, I believe God answers, and His presence is in this place.
Thank you, beautiful ushers. Thank you for your generosity. To get together, we affirm we are one with the opulence of God. We are now in the presence of infinite abundance, and we give thanks for the prosperity that is ours by divine right.
And so it is. We have a very special celebration this morning.
We do. We are so honored as a community that Jennifer has been called to become a credentialed Unity leader. The credential that she earned is spiritual director. She went through this Unity spiritual direction program. It was a 2-year program, lots of study, lots of experiential learning. She went on retreats. When I first met her, she's like, yeah, I go on retreats. I'm thinking, wow, you're really holy. But I didn't know it was part of school. So she's like double holy. But Reverend Nickie is going to anoint you, Jennifer, because taking on and answering this call to serve the people that we do serve at Unity of Mesa in the greater Phoenix area, and who knows where your journey will take you, is incredibly special. You're a tremendous blessing to us.
Yes, you are. So I anoint your mind, that you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are divine, and that you know that when you open up to that divinity that's within you, that the words that you have, that the thoughts that you have will be the most perfect for the person who's in front of you. And I know spiritual direction is more about listening, but I know that there is some talking. We anoint your mouth that as you speak, that those words are from the highest and only the highest consciousness that is available to you in any moment. We anoint your heart that it may always be open, filled with love, divine love for all that you see. And we anoint you in the joy of living, that as the divine being and as you do this work that you've been called to do, that there is great joy, and that in all moments you remember that you and your presence is the greatest gift that you give anyone. Thank you for answering that call to be a spiritual director. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. She's available, just saying. She's available, and so is hospitality right through the doors into the community room with delicious food that you have brought and have been organized by our hospitality team. We have chaplains that are available to pray with you. In addition to Jennifer, we have on deck today We have John Groves, who's available to pray with you. We have Jim Rice in the back. We have Audrey. Lots of prayer support for you to help remember that you are the presence, and your presence is a gift to yourself, to this community, and to the world.
Yes, indeed.
Right? All right, let's close with our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Have the best week ever.